Are you the parent of a middle or high school student who is feeling overwhelmed by classes, homework, and extracurricular activities? Is your student consistently finding themselves with no motivation to complete school tasks or assignments or even to study for exams? If so, I'd like to share some research-based, healthy, and effective ways your student can manage their stress to avoid burning out and engaging with their education. I'm Michael Coe with Mood Forward, and in this episode, I'm going to give you some insight on how your student can manage their stress levels so that they can thrive in school instead of burning out. As a former school counselor, I understand the importance and the reality of school and stress students bring to school as well. According to the American Psychological Association, 80% of middle and high school students report frequent stress. Sources of this stress can include assignment deadlines, studying for exams, lack of sleep, academic pressure, and just simply lacking motivation due to perceived irrelevance of their education. As a parent or a caregiver, it's really important to recognize the early signs of mental health distress due to school stress. Knowing how school stress is affecting your student's mental health is going to help you both in your relationship with your student and the student's relationship to their education as well. Some signs are constant fatigue, irritability, mood swings, avoiding schoolwork, sleep problems, and simple lack of motivation. Again, recognizing these signs as a parent or caregiver is the key. Self-awareness can be gained by them journaling, by you as a parent or caregiver journaling as well, or other techniques to gain self-awareness in order to track changes in behavior and decision making as well. Now I'd like to talk to you about the burnout cycle. The burnout cycle is very important to understand because it will help you as a parent or caregiver manage your student's stress levels and interact with your student about their perception of their stress. Let me give you an example of this cycle. It's going to take form in either one of two ways. The first one is going to be your student is going to overwork, they're going to become exhausted, they're going to then avoid work. This avoidance is going to bring in guilt, and that guilt is going to produce more overwork. This cycle will continue again and again as the student spirals out of control. Another form of this, though, is a simple one. It's simply that the student avoids work, feels guilty about that avoidance, and then that guilt then propels them to avoid work even further. I'd also like to talk about the emotional toll of burnout itself. Students can have a sense of being trapped or being overwhelmed, and this in turn can lead them to panic and hopelessness. If you've ever seen that in your student, you know what I'm talking about and why it's so important to be able to cover that as well. Something to consider is learning how to balance productivity with rest. Learning how to be productive without over or underdoing it is going to be important for you to help your student maintain that lifestyle that gets them through the stresses of life and helps them achieve academic success as well. There's this important technique of motivation gaining that I teach in college. It's actually called the Pomodoro technique. All it does is for every 25 minutes of work that your student produces, the student then gets to take a 5-minute rest. Oftentimes, students are given rest only in very, very infrequent sessions. And so this helps the student begin to gain a pattern of both work and rest, and just repeating that cycle over and over again. In the midst of such a technique, though, it's important for the student to not multitask. If you find that your student is trying to accomplish 5 to 10 things per day, teaching the student how to focus on one task at a time is going to help your student bring in that focus into their academic creativity and productivity as well. As a person with ADHD, I often struggle with this. It's very hard sometimes to actually just focus on one thing, knowing I may have 5 or 10 other things that need to be accomplished. But when I do, though, I find that my focus creates a much more effective use of my time than it were if I were to try to take on 5 or 10 tasks as well. Also, creating a balanced weekly plan. A student can sit down with a balanced plan and be able to chart out, how am I going to navigate the course of this day or this week? The student can create a chart or table that includes work, school time, and that is the time that they go to school and the time that they come home, study time, bringing in those work-rest cycles, remember that, assignment times, larger rest times when they actually get away from their tasks and get out into the world. Then we've got social, family, alone time, hobby or interest time, and even work time for some students as well. I like to remind you, parents or caregivers, their schedule does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be balanced. Like I said before, as somebody with ADHD, I struggle sometimes to find that work-life balance. Kind of an example of me as I work through my workday is I try to produce a schedule that helps me balance out what I need to get done and making sure that my mental health is being cared for as well. I may wake up at 6:45 with a cup of coffee and a walk around the block. I take that into my work, remembering to have those breaks during the course of my work day, then into my lunch. And I say this, parents or caregivers, because oftentimes we find ourselves as adults not ever having time for lunch or making time. Well, this is actually created during the high school years. So encourage your student to interact with his or her lunch. Go back into my work day, and then finally I've got that personal time at the end of my day as well. Helping your student find these steps and creating this balanced plan is going to help them understand how stress can be managed during the course of their day and week. Now, your student may come to you and say, "Parent, caregiver, I don't have the time for self-care." Well, I want to tell you though, by bringing in a self-care plan, you're going to help your student with their ability to manage stress and be productive as a student. First thing they can do is micro self-care. Again, getting back to those breaks. Learning how to protect their mental and physical health is going to help them achieve that balance. Number 2 is learn how to say yes and no more effectively. Your students have to learn the difference between what really matters and what they want to do. And we know as adults, it's very hard to make those distinctions sometimes. And number 3, help your student learn how to ask for help from family, friends, teachers, school counselors, or even church or interest groups. Teaching your student that they're not alone in this process is going to be so important, both in their ability to share with others and recognizing that students around have the same struggles that they do as well. So here are some final tips for helping your student stay healthy during the school year. You can help your student create a quick stress survival kit. This kit is going to help your student be able to pull out what they need when they need it in times of high stress so that they can maintain mental and physical health. Number 1 in this kit is remember to get enough sleep. The student's circadian rhythm is going to be changing during the course of their adolescence, so helping them find this sleep balance is crucial to maintaining effectiveness during the school year. Also, drinking water. As an adult, I can say oftentimes I forget to drink water, and it directly impacts my mental ability to engage with the tasks at hand. And finally, and I can't repeat this enough, learning how to build those small rest times in so the brain can reset and your student can get back to the task at hand. Number 2 is helping them set priorities. We're not talking 5, 10, or 20 priorities during the course of the day. Only 1 to 3 is needed. You can help your students set these priorities, and from that time they can click off each one as they go. And the next one is going to be this. Teach your student how to take technology breaks. So important to allowing your student the time to rest, reset, and go about their day as well. Remember, your student has to see life as sometimes good is good enough. So remember, helping your student manage stress from overworking and procrastinating can be achieved over time if the student understands themselves better and they learn new patterns of interacting with their school responsibilities. Before you go, hit the like or subscribe button, and we'd love to hear from you as well. So please remember to leave your comments and thoughts below. I'm Michael Coe with Mood Forward. Thank you for watching.